Tintin, and welcome to another one of the Fireside sessions with myself and the legend that is Dean Kelly, answering some of the questions that are posed to us through our membership. Now, Dean is synonymous with reading books and learning. He does quite a lot of the reading on our behalf, summarizes it, says whether it's worth looking at. It'd be interesting for people to understand your theory on reading, your theory about learning, and the elements that you put into research, because if you've got one stat, you've got 15.
I've always read a lot of books at the same time because they're not novels. It's not 50 Shades of Grey or John Grisham. It's not something that you want to find out who did it or what the end is. They're normally full of graphs, full of information, full of advice, full of guidance. I read a lot of economic history books, but most of them are from a contrarian standpoint because you've said it, I've said it a few times, history is written by winners, and there seems to be a general form. And I always like to challenge, what I've read and whatever else, because I need to be informed. And at the moment, I've just finished a really good book called How Innovation Works by Matt Ridley. I'm rereading a book called Hooked, another one called The Choice Factory, which is about platforms and getting people hooked on them and the digital marketing behind that and what works. Because those sorts of things you can read. I read them a couple of years ago, but you kind of need that refresher. But generally, I won't finish that book. I will read half to 2/3 of it, start another one, go back to it.
So you know how I feel about business books, that I get really angry that they all basically contradict each other. And I think if someone that hasn't got a really clear sense of purpose and direction and know what they're doing with business, they end up reading a book and they flip-flop and they yin to their yang, and they basically just go around in circles, and whatever flavor of the month or depending on whatever chapter they're on, their business then is expected to march to a different tune that week. I worry about that. So I've purposely always only think about one subject matter and then try to learn about that one thing intimately. But you do it differently.
Yeah, I do know quite a few people, actually. Every time I meet them and they've read a new business book, it's their new thing. And I have done, but I would never read again I read a Richard Branson book once, and for me, there's a lot of people out there that we know. We know some of these people, big business names, and they got morals when they got money. And I don't want to listen to how they sugarcoat what they did and whatever else. I'm very much into looking at books and knowing that there's never going to be a book that gives me 100% of what I need to know. If I get 5 things from any book that I can use in my life, that's brilliant, because it's 5 and 5 and 5 and 5. And then what you find is that if you read contradictory books to the other one, you can then make an informed decision on all the information. And I think the world doesn't do that. As we're seeing with censorship, whether you like someone or don't like somebody is another thing, but not having a platform for that voice and that debate and being able to answer things is a bad thing. So you then end up searching out to find out if what you're being told is true. And we know in our lifetimes how many things were true 10, 20, 30 years ago, which are no longer true today.
There ain't no Santa Claus.
I'm a cynic about cynic. So I'm a cynic. I think he does well because people like it, they get it, it's simple. But he's not telling you anything new. He's telling you stuff that's been around for 20 years. In 1999, I put together a thing about why for one of the businesses I was working with and whatever else. And no, I didn't do it as well as he did. I didn't present it as well as he did. I didn't have lovely graphs like he did. And I'm sure he helps lots and lots of people. But there are lots of, and if you look at his background, he's a marketeer. People who are selling these quotes and these headlines, Seth Godin, they're great. And they're great for us, for sound bites and telling our staff and whatever else. But these aren't necessarily, but these people make money from being those individuals. Gary Vee as well. Great. People love what he says online. I actually commented last summer on something he said, and he offered to fly me out to New York to meet him, to have a conversation. And this is all on Instagram, direct of his account. So I do appreciate what they're doing, but from my side of things, I look at them and think, you're just marketeers, you're marketing a brand, and that's you. You're not necessarily wealth generators who've built businesses. And the sort of stuff you're giving advice on isn't necessarily the stuff you've done.
So as we wind this one up, Dean, a book recommendation for 2021?
Yeah, it's one I've just finished. I just mentioned a while back, and it's How Innovation Works, Matt Ridley. He wrote The Rational Optimist as well. Brilliant book as well. But you see all the innovation, all the things around us that we see all the time, and we think that person created that and that person created that. And you find out that it's plagiarism, it's a mongrel mix of lots of people who briefly met for one meeting and someone took someone else's idea and whatever else. So innovation isn't a light bulb going off. It isn't you sitting there going, oh, I've just created the new Facebook, I've created the new LinkedIn, whatever it might be. Innovation is collaboration. And that creativity, probably that we're missing in the workplace at the moment. And it was nice. It was a nice read because you realised how much humans do better when they're together.
I was expecting you to go, inspiration is collaboration across the nation. But I think that says more about our roots.
Yeah, that does.
I would say I'm massively into psychology at the moment. So surrounded by idiots is brilliant. Surrounded by psychopaths is better. And the A to Z of being mental is off the scale. So if you really want to understand how you work and how your head works and how your people work to engage with them even better, great book. Thank you, Dean. Always lovely getting inside your head, mate. See everybody, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.